Hi everyone, good morning. I'm doing a next point in my speaking for John Maxwell, and I'm looking at the law of the inner circle. So when you look at the law of the inner circle, John Maxwell is giving powerful examples of people who started with him, how they helped him, and how he values them. And so too with us, we have people on our teams, in our friendship circles, in our communities, who we value and who value us. For example, with me, when I worked as an executive assistant, my executives relied on me. They knew that I would take care of the things that would free up their time, help them to be available to people, make sure their meetings were scheduled. And when you work in that capacity, you're basically somebody's right hand. You're taking care of their things when they're going to the meetings. They don't have to worry about taking in their laptop or their materials or picking them up afterwards. They're free to do what they need to do. So it's an important role in any organization, and it's something that you have to have a good fit. You have to have the right people working together with the same outlook, the same values, and the same expectations. If you don't have that, it doesn't work. So the type of executive assistant that John Maxwell had is the type of person I am. Some executives here don't like that. They want to manage their own calendars. They want to pick up their own stuff to take to the meetings. They want to take it back with them. So it really depends on the fit. And that's important, because when you work with the executive at that level, they have to be able to trust you. They have to be able to let you know where the problems are on the team. And you have to be able to take those problems that you see to them so that they can help to resolve them, and to know your limitations. So that's one example. The other law of the inner circle is like with personal life. So we all have birthdays, we all have celebrations, we all have occasions. For some people, birthdays are just another birthday. It's like, okay, you know what, it's just another birthday. But for me, I like to celebrate my birthday. I do something for myself. I'll go out, I'll enjoy the day, even if I find a special movie to watch, or if I have a call with a friend that day, or I get a call from a family member. Sometimes it makes the day more special. Other times I just want that day for myself, whether it's to go to the spa and be away from people and not have anybody around me if I've had a stressful week. So again, it's about what matters to you, and do your inner circle know that that's what you want. And for me, I like to be on my own. I like to go out for my walks, enjoy my day, come home, relax, because I'm always dealing with people. I'm always focusing on what other people need, what other people want, what other people's desires are. So it's nice to do that, because I don't have anybody close by near me who's going to pamper me or spoil me or take me out for a meal. I used to have one person that I was a colleague with, that I worked with on the Human Resources Professionals Committees. Her name was Amy Condon, but I haven't heard from her in years since COVID hit. So, you know, you reach out a few times, and then if you don't hear back, you leave it and you move on. So we have to look at our inner circle, and we have to look at who we started with and who's still with us on the journey. I have very good friends in England. I have my friend Renee. We message each other every day. We know what's going on in each other's lives. We went to university together, and we will always be friends. We will always be there for each other. And I have another friend in Netherlands, Privilege. We went to high school together. In fact, we've known each other from childhood. So sometimes you have people like that who start the journey with you, and they stay in your lives. And today with technology, it makes it a lot easier to stay in touch with people, to keep connected, and to be a part of each other's lives. But there has to be give and take. There's other friends I only hear from at Christmas or Easter or on my birthday. But we all have to see who our inner circle is, because your inner circle will help you succeed. Your inner circle will remind you of your skills, your talents, how gifted you are, and encourage you to keep going, and help you when you're making critical decisions. If you need a sounding board, they'll be there to tell you what they think. When you come into a culture like this, it is very hard because you're coming from a different culture, a different background, but we can draw on our experiences from the past and we can apply them here. And that's what I did when I went into the church here. I didn't go into the church saying, oh, I don't know anything about the Catholic Church. I'll never be successful in helping in the parish. I didn't approach it that way. I approached it as, you know what, I've come to Canada as a skilled worker, I'm professional, I know what I'm doing, I have the skills and ability to succeed. And I did. I helped I ran the children's liturgy for Father Larry. I helped to run programs in the church. I helped to contribute to leading the rosary. So we also have to come with a winning mindset. Not that, oh, we're losers, we're just plodding along, we can't do anything. We have to keep in mind what our end goal is and know that our inner circle will be there to help close doors when we need to move on. They'll help us to let go of things that are gone. I don't keep in touch with people in Zimbabwe that often now. I see their updates and whatever they post on Facebook because my life is here now. That life is, I'm doing what I can to help people there. But whatever they share with me, I see what's on Facebook. Because again, I reach out a couple of times. If people don't respond, they don't reciprocate, then I leave it. Because you can only give and take and build relationships where there is give and take. So I'm focusing on that point today for career in terms of knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing your goal of where you want to be. And the executive assistant role is not a role where people should be dictating to you what to do. It's a partnership. It's a role where you should be able to be comfortable saying, this is how I see it, this is what I think, this is where I see some goals can happen or what we can aim for. And it should be that way in any position. But some positions we get paid very poorly, we get treated very badly, and on top of that, people expect us to just be grateful that we have something, which is not the way it should be. When we are educated, when we've worked hard, we've given a lot of our lives to our communities, to being above average, then we should get the promotions, we should get the opportunities, we should get the openings or the freedom to make our own decisions. But most of the time that's not the case. And I'll give you one example. Donald Trump is in power now, and Robert Kennedy Jr. has been appointed to lead the healthcare portfolio. So many people will not like it, but I think it's good because you need to have diverse perspectives, and his dad was one of the political leaders that came to South Africa when nobody would stand against apartheid. They visited South Africa and they took a stand against the abuse of visible minorities, him and John F. Kennedy. So because of that, things started to change. And Big Pharma makes a lot of money by pushing their drugs, pushing psychiatric treatments, pushing psychiatric assessments, pushing drugs that they'll classify children as ADHD when they may just have a high energy. Like, I'm a high energy person. Can you see how much I get accomplished in a day? So then they'll prescribe drugs like Ritalin, which makes children think that they have worms crawling under their skin. That's how it feels to the children. And I learned about these things in my theology as part of my programs, as part of what I was learning. And the same thing happened here in Canada. A lot of people didn't want the vaccines. A lot of people said, you know what, we know vaccines work, but when COVID hit, it was so new, people wanted the option to choose, and we were not given that option. So people left their jobs, people decided to just stay at home, and then the government gave us this money. They told us, okay, you go home, we don't know whether you're going to have a job or not. Claim that money. And then the government demanded payment by a certain date. Now, if you're in minimum wage, can barely make ends meet, or you can't make ends meet, imagine how much pressure that was on me. Because they basically sent me a lien. They were basically suing me, telling me, if you don't pay this money by this date, we are going to take you to court. But when Justin Trudeau put those arrangements into place, he said, oh, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and claim the money and we'll deal with it later. We'll give people time to pay. And I'm not the only one that went through it. There are thousands of men and women that went through it, and small business owners. It's not fair to us to treat us that way. Because first you forced us to take the vaccine, which many of us didn't want, and we did it because we wanted to keep our jobs. We had to produce the evidence that we went and we got the vaccines to our employers. And then you told us, claim this money and don't worry about it. You'll be able to pay it back at your own pace. And then you took legal action against us. So how is that fair to us as citizens of this country, or anybody? It isn't fair. So I'm happy that they put somebody in there who will hopefully be broad-minded enough to be able to help people make realistic decisions, but also informed decisions. Because there's a lot of doctors that came out after that saying that this COVID went through a natural cycle, and the people that had immunity to it were not going to pass away, and those who didn't were going to, because vaccines, all vaccines do, they inject you with a virus, and your body develops the antibodies to fight it. And sometimes those vaccines don't work because with things like the flu strain, it changes. So by that vaccine is developed a year ago, by the time you get it, it's changed. Yes, it does help with some immunity, but it's not like, oh, you're going to take this vaccine and you're guaranteed that you're going to live. And when COVID started, it was very new, the vaccines were very new, so people were very nervous. And some people did die as a result of taking the vaccines. So what goes around comes around. Robert Kennedy and John F. Kennedy took a stand all those years ago, not only for their countries, but for our countries too. And now there's somebody there that I am celebrating, because I'm like, you know what, when everybody else stood against us and told us we were idiots, treated us badly, do what they're doing to us now, these are the people who stood up for us. So I'm hoping that will happen again. And sometimes it's not the people with degrees and all that who treat others well. It's the exact opposite. It's the ones with the degrees and the high qualifications that treat the rest of us badly. And even for me, that's what happens. Even though I've got my degrees here and my qualifications and I'm just as good, if not better than them, I get the worst treatment. And they tell me what they're going to do. Just like when I was at Teleperformance, I told them, this is not the right way. You're supposed to fix my ID, try to bring me in, find me a job at the same level and the same wages or better. They said, no, we are going to lay you off, and we're arranging a meeting with HR, and then there'll be no compensation on our side. You'll have to claim EI. And I said, look, I'm an HR professional. I'm telling you, this is not right. They did it anyway. And who's going to challenge them? If I take this to the Human Rights Commission, do you think I'll get anything from it? I won't. So you might as well accept it and move on and apply for better jobs. They won't even help me like in other times when it was their fault. What they did is they let me stay at home and they paid me. And then when a position opened up that I was qualified for and I had the skills for, they just took me to the office and they said, you don't have to do any testing or anything. Just come in, learn what you need to learn, and we'll put you into production because you're such a good worker. But things have changed. That was a different manager. It was a different operations manager, and it was a different executive. So there's no point me fighting it because I tried. I talked to them as an educated partner. I told them this is the right way to do it. They refused, and HR did exactly what the business wanted. So you also have to know your inner circle, and you have to know that, okay, if I've told them this is the right way, on top of that, I had a doctor's note to say I require a day shift for my health and that I'm supposed to be accommodated, and they're telling me we're not going to do it for you, there's no point fighting. Because even if you get a lawyer, even if you get the MPs involved or anyone else involved, they'll turn around and put it on you because they are in the positions of authority. And then they'll do what Credit Suisse did to me and send me for a psychiatric assessment. So there's no point. You might as well say, okay, you run your company the way you think it's best. Now they lost all those clients. They took all the jobs to South Africa, and a lot of other people got let go. Not my fault. When you have people that are out of the pile, that are above average, and we're telling you what the solution is, and you don't want to listen, and we're your top workers, your top performers, the people bringing in the money, and you're letting us get abused on calls, you're letting us get abused on chats, on emails, then it's not our fault, because then we've done our share. And it's the people in the outer circle that will open the doors for us, that will help us get other opportunities, that will help us to move to that next level. Because your inner circle, the people who were in the inner circle, didn't do that for me. So that's how we have to learn and apply these principles. Because we don't want to be martyrs. We don't want to land up in jail. We don't want to land up being isolated like with UDI. And I had the support of the banks. When I filed my human rights case, it was under a directive from HSBC. I didn't do it on my own. I even fought with them. I said, I don't want to do this. They're like, you have to do it and you have to call the police. I am giving you a directive. And if you don't do it, there's going to be consequences for you. So we have to learn when we come here what to do. Because I don't want to go to jail, and I certainly do not want the people who are following me and learning from me to go to jail. Because yes, this is their country, but now it's also our country. Now we are citizens, and we've proven ourselves. So we also have skills, and we have a voice, and we can make a difference. I'll continue tomorrow on the next point, but that's the point I wanted to make for today. I'm still applying for jobs. I'm still putting my feelers out there to get speaking engagements. And I'm still taking courses and doing everything I can to upgrade my skills through HRPA and applying through jobs through Charity Village, and where my passion is to help the poor, to alleviate poverty, to bring about justice. I'm applying to non-profits as well. I'm not just waiting, sitting saying, okay, hopefully Teleperformance selects me for the next role. And if I get something else, then they can come and pick up the equipment, because I know I did a lot for them and I helped them a lot. And if they don't appreciate it, that's not my fault.